A lot of people think summertime is the time when you start working on your deck and your front porch and things like that outside.
No, we just learned that fall is the perfect time to do that.
Yes.
And we have an expert here to tell us why.
Home improvement expert Jeff Wilson is here to show us why this time, before winter sets in, you got to get outside and work on your wood, right?
Right. Well, the thing is that in the fall, that's when we get a lot of water, and then we have the freeze-thaw cycle in the wintertime.
And that's bad for the deck.
Right. So in the fall, when the water seeps into the wood, and then you have the freeze-thaw cycle, you get cracks and things like that. Okay. So this is the time to make sure that the wood is waterproof.
How do you know if you already have waterproof?
Right. So sometimes the finish can look good, and it's not protecting, or sometimes the finish can look bad, but it's still protecting, right? So what we do is called the splash test. Go outside on your deck and splash a little water on it. Now, if the water soaks in like it does here and darkens the wood, then it's time to retreat the deck. If it beads up like it has here, then you're good to go. No need to treat it right now.
All right, so if you do discover that it's time to treat it, what's your first step?
The first step is you have to clean it. I mean, you wouldn't paint a car, right, without cleaning it first. You want to get all the debris and detritus off of it. You sweep it, and then get a off-the-shelf deck cleaner. Spray it on with a pump-up garden sprayer. Let it sit for 10 minutes, brush it with a brush like this on a long handle to save your back, and then spray it off with a garden hose.
Now, you don't like pressure washing on a deck, right?
I think you have to be very careful. I tell people usually it's not a necessary step, and people can often use it too aggressively and damage the wood. So I say if you really don't have to if you use a nice, if you use the off-the-shelf cleaner and the garden hose when you're done.
All right.
All right, so we've cleaned it.
Right.
Now what's our next step?
Right, so you want it to dry, and then you want to choose some kind of a protector for the wood. It could be a clear protector, it could be a stain. In this case, this is called Total All-in-One from Thompson's Water Seal. This is available at Menards. It's a stain, it's water protection, it's UV protection, all in one.
One
and it's
product.
One product, one coat.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
One coat.
Right. So, and then you want to think about a couple of things. You want to think about opacity, right? So we have 3 different colors, but we also have 3 different opacities: a toner, a semi-transparent, and a solid stain.
Okay.
The toner obviously has less pigment in it, so you see more wood grain. The solid covers almost all the wood grain.
Is darker better for the wood, or does it matter?
Right. Well, it does matter. Maybe you have new wood and you want to see more of the grain, so you'll use a toner to expose more grain. But anything with more pigment in it will last longer.
Okay.
So if you have older wood that's kind of damaged, has some splotching, you want to cover it. You might want to use a semi-transparent or a solid. Not only will it cover up those splotches, but it will last longer.
Okay.
Now I have a question. I have a deck that's already stained close to this, but it's starting to peel off. What should I do? Versus, I start with cleaning, but then do I need to use a paint remover?
Well, actually, you have options with the cleaning. Usually, there's a deck cleaner. There may be 4 options: a deck cleaner, a heavy-duty deck cleaner, and a deck stripper. Okay. And then there's something called a deck brightener. So you would want to choose something that would take up whatever amount of stain you have. If you have mostly just dirt and a little bit of clear, you use a deck cleaner. If you have some old stain, you might use the heavy-duty. You might even use the deck stripper. If you have cedar, like I have here, and it turns gray as it gets older, you want to use a brightener when you're done with it to bring all the color back, the cedar color back. Yeah.
So we're ready to stain our deck, and you're going to let us do a little bit.
Right.
Give us some tips on making sure
favorite
that's a good job.
My favorite tool is a deck pad, and I take the pole from my brush, put it on there. It's really easy to do, saves your back, very quick. But you can apply with a brush or a roller. One of the keys is keeping what we call the leading edge wet. Right, the leading edge is that very front edge where there's bare wood and you've got stain. If you let that dry as you're working, and you go back over it, you'll get splotch marks. So what we'll often do is put.
So I'm not doing it right.
Well, no, you're doing fine.
Okay.
You got a mic in your hand too, so you're doing double duty here.
You want me to hold it?
So
I got it.
So what you want to do is make sure after you've sort of gotten the stuff on fairly heavily, go back and back brush over it. But always stay ahead of yourself. Maybe only do 2 boards or 3 boards at a time, so you can stay ahead of your work and then move over on the deck. So.
Okay.
Very good.
And of course, you also want to pick the right day. So you want to pick a day like this maybe.
How long does it have to set?
Well, usually about 4 hours until it's dry. We say 24 hours before you put your furniture back on.
Okay.
Yeah, but you want to pick a day like today that's a little overcast. That'll keep the sun from drying the stain too quickly. Usually a cooler day is good. You want to pay attention to the instructions on the can that'll tell you exactly what the temperature should be and how to apply.
And then as we wrap it up, what are the things that you should do next summer after you've done all this great work in the fall?
If you've done all this great work in the fall, the great thing is all you have to do is sweep off your deck and you're ready for the entertaining season.
That's great. Thank you, Jeff.
You
Jeff
bet.
Wilson, that was good stuff.
And you can find this at Menards.
At Menards, right? And if you want to, there are a lot of tips here. If you want to go to thompsonswaterseal.com, we've got them all there.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Yay. Look how beautiful.
I know.
We did.
I like this color.